Start this off by washing 2 cups or 450 grams of white long grain rice under cold running water just until the water runs clear. Washing the rice removes any surface starch that otherwise causes the rice to clump together and get gummy as it cooks. And this may take about 1 to 2 minutes. Then once that's done, just leave the rice to drain. We're going to peel 1 carrot. Remove the ends, and you can save the carrot scraps for a stock. Then slice it in half. Slice it into 1 centimeter thick strips. And if you find it easier, you can lay it flat on the bench and slice your knife through it like this. Slice it into thin battens. Turn it 90 degrees and dice into 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cubes. Slice 1 small green bell pepper in half. Remove the core and just discard of these. Give it a tap on the bench to remove any seeds. Then slice them into quarters. Remove the pith as this part's bitter. And then same principle as the carrots, we're just going to slice these into thin strips. Rotate them 90 degrees and dice them up. Then with 1 brown onion, remove the end opposite the core, slice it in half through the core, and remove the skin. And make sure to save these skins for a stock. Thinly slice as close to the root as you can. Then slice it in half, stopping at the root. And then we're just going to thinly slice across to achieve a nice small dice. Trim off any remaining flesh around the root, and this will reduce any wastage. And make sure to save the root for a stock as well. Thinly slice 3 cloves of garlic. Then roughly chop it up until it's nice and small. Remove the stem off of 1 chili, slice it in half lengthways, and remove the pith. And it's up to you if you want to keep the seeds in for that extra heat. Then slice it into thin strips, rotate it 90 degrees, and finally dice. This is a long red chili, but for this recipe I'd recommend using a jalapeno, and unfortunately I couldn't get hold of any jalapenos from anywhere. Last but not least, roughly chop up 20 grams of coriander or cilantro, and we're going to use this for 2 things. We're going to add this into the rice when it's finished cooking, and we're also going to use this as a garnish. And you can chop up the stem as well, it has great flavour. Place a large heavy base saucepan onto your stovetop and put it over a high heat. Once it's nice and hot, add in 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil, along with the onions, the carrots, the bell pepper, and the chopped garlic. Saute this off for 5 to 6 minutes or until the onions have become translucent, and we don't want to get much colour onto this, so we're just going to frequently stir it around. After 6 minutes, add in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, along with the diced chili, and fry this off for 45 seconds, just to release the oils in the tomato paste. Add in the washed long grain rice, mix that through, and toast the rice for 3 minutes. This will give the rice a head start in cooking, help it from falling apart, and give it a nice, mild, nutty flavour. Add in 2 3/4 cups or 675 milliliters of vegetable or chicken stock, and I'll make sure I leave a link to my stocks in the description below, along with 1 can, 400 grams or 14 ounces of diced tomatoes, 220 grams or 8 ounces of tomato puree, and I'll make sure I leave a note in the description below about this ingredient, and 3/4 of a tablespoon of sea salt. Mix this all together to combine. Then add in 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 3/4 of a teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of dried chili powder. And depending on how hot you like your food, you can add more or less. Mix all of that together. Then add in 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground white pepper. Give it a taste for seasoning and adjust accordingly. Then, making sure this is on a high heat, we're going to bring it up to a boil, give it 1 last stir, then chuck a lid onto the saucepan and cook this for 11 minutes. After 11 minutes, remove the lid and be careful of the steam. Give it a really small mix and you'll notice that a lot of the liquid is absorbed into the rice. Now, keeping this on a low heat, we're going to cook this for the remaining 5 to 6 minutes, but make sure the rice is not falling apart. Turn it off the heat and add in the chopped coriander or cilantro, and if you wanted to use any as a garnish at the end, just reserve a little bit to the side. Gently mix all of that through. Then we can serve this into our bowls. Sprinkle over the reserved coriander or cilantro. And make sure to serve this with a wedge of lime. The citrus and acidity partners perfectly with this rice. Squeeze over that lime, and then I'm going to give this a try. The flavours on this are absolutely incredible. It's lightly spicy, the cumin and oregano bring out great aroma and taste, it has great texture, and adding the coriander or cilantro and the squeeze of lime bring out a delicious freshness and a pop onto your palate. This recipe serves 4 to 6 people and can be stored in the fridge for up to 4 days, and it can also be frozen for up to 4 months. This is the perfect side dish to many great Mexican dishes. Thanks for watching, please enjoy.